Hey guys, I am back. Is this working? Yeah, everything's on. Excellent. Hey guys, so past couple weeks I've been reading Steve Chandler's Shift Your Mind, Shift the World. It's an excellent book. Steve Chandler is really easy to read. Uh, he is a speaker and a performancer, life coach, but he's also an author. So he's distilled a lot of what you would experience um, in a coaching session. He's distilled a lot of them into books with lots of examples and lots of stories. So we're going to go straight to, let me put this down, and then we are going to work with me live. We're going to put up our Shift Your Mind, Shift the World, Steve Chandler. Great. Chapter 62. Helpless is the face of opportunity. Tracy Goss, in her book, The Last Word on Power, wrote, "Death is not the most profound loss or tragedy in life. That which dies inside of us as we live is a far greater loss. The loss of possibility, a loss that comes from running our personal rackets, has ravaged the lives of too many individuals who could have otherwise transformed the world. So these rackets that we run are really belief systems built on a house of cards, of lies we tell ourselves. They are lies about how weak we really are and how helpless we are in the face of life's opportunities. Ponder that irony. People become helpless in the face of opportunities. Opportunity threatens them because rather than grabbing the opportunity and creating something wonderful, they react negatively. They react with caution. They try to be safe. They fear making a mistake. They become paralyzed, trying to decide what to do with the opportunity. At any given moment, with any given opportunity, I am either creating or I am reacting. If I'm creating, I'm coming from my highest self. I'm coming from the infinite creativity of the universe that is my very essence. Our common mythology teaches us that if it's just so rare, teaches us that it's just so rare that we really create. It's some kind of epiphany when it happens, like writers who believe they have to wait for inspiration to write, and they haven't been inspired for years. Some writers go into depression and get what they believe is writer's block. Writer's block is just a concept, but they can't see it. They think it's a real block. A creative life is simpler than that. Begin by thinking in terms of creating rather than reacting. See the choice that's always present. If you catch yourself reacting, all that means is that you are low on your ladder. You're stuck in your left brain. You're trapped there and you're condemning things. Condemning and judging is how you know you're there. Notice how opportunity arrives, and rather than welcome it, you start to judge it. You might spend your whole day looking that gift horse in the mouth. Let the shift happen right there and then. See whatever is in front of you as an opportunity. Then use it to begin creating what you want. Chapter 63. a soothing rainbow of relaxation. And there's a quote here by Martin Heidegger: language is the house of being. In its home we dwell. Those who think and those who create with words are the guardians of this home. Language is the house of being, and this house of being is built with words. So it should not be so surprising to see the lasting effect that these mere words have. You can test this effect any way you like, but do test it. Test it with yourself. Start with 3 words that are positive for you. Let's say soothing, rainbow, relaxation. Those are 3 words that are usually positive for people. So now say to yourself, soothing, rainbow, relaxation, and notice the feeling in your body when you say it. Say it again out loud. And again, notice how you feel as you ponder these 3 words. Notice that there's really a change in how you feel. You start to breathe a little more easily and deeply. You're a little more relaxed. And all of a sudden, life looks a little more attractive to you. It was all from pondering the words soothing, rainbow, and relaxation. Those 3 words, as you reflect on them, will alter the chemistry of your body, will completely change the biomarkers as they can be measured, and will shift your brain waves. Now think of the words fatal, pornographic, life threatening. Those 3 words usually put people on edge. If you were to keep saying them to yourself, you would become edgy. Soon, you'd be deeply upset. Just words, though, right? You can also test this by sending an email to somebody. Send somebody you know an email that says soothing rainbow relaxation, and then sign your name and see what kind of reactions you get. Send it to 20 people and then send the email that says fatal, pornographic, life threatening, and sign your name and see what kind of reactions you get to that. These are just words, but look at the emotions they trigger in people. Always, all day, night and day, even when you are asleep, certain words and phrases pass through the mind. When you are in the dream level of consciousness, at the alpha brainwave state, words are still seeding their impact. Certain words and phrases that went into your mind during the day can manifest at night in a really bad dream, because the brain at night tries to resolve the unfinished business of the day, and it will try to complete those word pictures for you. Really bad dreams and nightmares occur because certain thoughts keep coming in that you haven't seen for what they are. At night, the dream tries to complete the unfinished thoughts of the day. It can be frightening, but they're words. That's all they are. Let's just pick 1 word for now and see its impact. The word will be problem. Most of us have a very negative emotional history with the word problem. If someone calls you and says, "We've got a problem," notice how you feel. It's not good. If you grab it and cling to it, it can take you down the ladder. The very use of the word problem diminishes your problem solving activity. What a double bind that is. Identifying and naming a problem. Hold on. By identifying and naming a problem, I've lowered my ability to solve it. No wonder I have so many problems piling up. The very use of the word shrinks the resources I once had to solve things. That was the last thing I wanted when I brought up this problem. I thought I had courageously spoken about this problem in order to see it and solve it. Yet now I've created my own weakness because the mere mention of the word has lowered my mood and therefore lowered my consciousness and creativity. The very things I need to solve things with. What a load of quicksand that is. The mind has undercut itself with language. When it does this, language is truly the house of being. So it's time to allow an immediate mind shift because if I open my mind, it will shift my perception of the world around me and its problems. So now I'll try describing this situation, the one I was tempted to call a problem, as a real adventure. I might now identify it as a real opportunity. And the more I use this new language, the faster my mind opens up and rises. Try sending 10 people an email with just the word problem and then sign your name. See what they come back with. Watch all the nervous responses. Hey, what's going on? Call me. What problem? What do you mean? What are you referring to? Do you mean that voicemail I left? I'm sorry. I might have been too harsh. It will trigger all kinds of negative responses, but it's just a word. Now find 10 different people and send them a one word email that says opportunity and sign your name. Watch what happens to that email. Hey, great to hear from you. Wow, I want to talk about that opportunity wherever it is. Opportunity for me and you, call me. You have a completely different response because you shifted the language. Chapter 64. You either own it or you don't. I'm often asked to give a public speech or a workshop on my book, Reinventing Yourself, which contains the owner victim distinction. My workshops are always about contrasting distinctions. The workshops are never just downloads of information. People already have too much information. Clients who are considering whether to hire me have asked, what's the information in your speech? There isn't much. Are you joking? No, there's just a distinction. You'll have to explain that. A distinction is different than information. If I went in front of a group of people for an hour and gave them a ton of new information, they'd simply have more information. Now they'd have to try to remember it all. They might have taken notes, but a month later, they would have forgotten most of the information. Sounds like a waste of time. No wonder most leaders tell me training comes and goes and nothing's ever different. I agree with that. How could anything be different when you're just filling people with information? These days, we already receive more information than ever before in the history of mankind. We are overwhelmed with information. We get so much. The minute we wake up, the television might be on, or the radio, or we flip the computer on and get our early morning information, or receive a series of texts and soon the information just overwhelms us. It's like a rush of polluted water, a tsunami of information. And then throughout the day, we are given more and more information. So if you go into a seminar and I give you even more information, then that's a disservice. A single contrasting distinction is different than information because a distinction is simply a vision of separation. Over here, this, over here, that. The intention is to inspire an insight. And when you get a new insight, it never leaves you with anything you have to try to remember. Like the distinction between perceiving the world like an owner and perceiving it like a victim. A clear distinction, an unforgettable contrast. When you see it and when you get the contrast, it's yours forever. You own your insight. You're like the young King Arthur of legend pulling the sword Excalibur from the stone. Now the sword is his, and he would be the once and future king. When you clearly get how distinct two things are, you'll never lose that distinction. For example, life and death. It's a contrasting distinction. I believe you've already gotten that one because when you were a young child, there was a point at which you learned about death and how it was different and distinct from life. I remember when I was 3 years old and there was a dead bird on the road. My father was pushing me in a stroller and I pointed at the bird and he explained to me that the bird was dead. And for the first time, I got the distinction. Something could be living or something could be dead. Once you get a distinction, you've got it. You don't have to revisit it and continuously remind yourself of it. I have had people contact me who were in an owner victim distinction seminar over 10 years ago and tell me that the main distinction has stayed with them throughout all these years. When the sun goes down, it is nighttime. We know that because we learned the distinction between night and day. We only had to get it once. We never had to put up a sticker. We never had to put a sticker up on our refrigerator saying, remember, dark equals nighttime and light equals daytime. We never have to remind ourselves of a distinction. We've already got it. Distinctions are like good jokes. You get it. When you get it, you own it. It's yours. You are now moving through the world, interacting with others with a distinction in you that you have and can use. Distinctions help you simplify life. You have new mental leverage that wasn't there before. Shifting becomes easier. All right, let's stop at chapter 65, guys. And I'm going to end the stream and take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow.